Welcome to Season 2 of the Parkinson's podcast Unfiltered, with hosts Heather Kennedy and Kat Hill, brought to you by the Davis Phinney Foundation. Heather is originally from New York and was diagnosed with young-onset Parkinson's in 2011 when she was 40. Kat is originally from a small town in California and was diagnosed in 2015 when she was 48. Heather and Kat have been friends since they met at the World Parkinson Congress in 2019. In this season, Heather and Kat will be joined by Chris Krueger, a Davis Phinney Foundation staff member who was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2020 when he was 37. In each episode this season, Heather and Kat will dive deep into the raw emotion and realities of living with Parkinson's as they share stories and discuss questions they've received from people in the Parkinson's community. If you have a question to ask or story to share, please visit dpf.org/unfiltered. That's dpf.org/unfiltered. This episode begins with Heather, Kat, and Chris discussing a question about poetry. This question called to mind their friend and longtime friend to the Davis Phinney Foundation, Wayne Gilbert, who died in late September. They also discussed the World Parkinson Congress, grooming, and navigating the blurry line between apathy and fatigue.
Let's roll. We had some good questions this round, didn't we, you guys? Really good questions.
Yeah, there's a couple real good ones we got. And we got a bunch to talk about. So one of them actually relates to a question we had, I think it was the last episode we talked about this, a question about haiku came in last time. And a listener wrote in named Mimi, and Mimi wrote, I was so thrilled to tune in to the latest episode and hear you talking about haiku for Parkinson's. Thank you so much as both a person with Parkinson's and an aspiring haiku poet. And Mimi then asked, did you know that a haiku contest is one of the activities being offered by the World Parkinson Congress in preparation for the meeting in May in Phoenix? Mimi just wanted to see if we knew about that. And, I think this is a really sort of timely question because, poetry is a part of all of our lives, the three of us on this call, but it's also a part of one of our dear friends, Wayne Gilbert's life. And, Wayne recently passed away. And so we wanted to start off by talking about that anyway. And then we had a question about haiku and poetry. So it's really great. So I think maybe we should talk about Wayne first. Can we go there first? You guys okay with that?
Yes. Metaphor medicine.
Metaphor medicine.
Or Parky jazz.
Mm,
Do you remember that 2024 interview that you did with him, Kat?
I do, vividly.
He was jamming with a saxophonist.
Mm-hmm.
He'd written over 300 poems about what it really feels like. It was a great interview.
It's a great interview. I was very honored to get to interview him.
I will miss his voice. His legacy lives on, though, because he said something I'll never forget. You will hunker down in yourself. He refused all warring language. He didn't like to say, I'm going to fight this. He said it's akin to punching yourself in the face. How is that helpful? But it wasn't due to a soft underbelly. He wasn't into toxic positivity. He was ferocious, and he knew his shadow. He included his shadow. It was important to him to get through things creatively. He believed in it. He believed so much in it that he would let prison doors shut behind him when he volunteered to teach poetry in the prisons. What a brilliant, thoughtful man. I'm better for having known Wayne Gilbert. Thank you so much.
What a beautiful tribute, Heather. I'm moved. He would be moved. He'd love that you're sharing him through your words. And to our writer, Mimi, that wrote in about the haiku contest with the WPC, words are a beautiful way for us to be able to express ourselves. And I think having a space to do that in haiku at the World Parkinson Congress is something that Wayne would absolutely love. And yeah, we miss you, Wayne.
Never would have met him had it not been for Davis Phinney Foundation.
Mm-hmm. And Parkinson's. I mean, I'm not grateful for Parkinson's, but I'm sure grateful for the people that I've gotten to meet.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I think I want to just sort of tie this together for a second because I think, Wayne would be psyched, I think, about haiku being featured in this way at the World Parkinson Congress. I think we need to talk maybe about what the World Parkinson Congress is because maybe not everybody knows.
It's an excellent point.
But I also think it's worth saying that One of the things that poetry can do is show you a new way to see something. I think that's often what it does. It's giving you a new way to look at something that you might have thought was common before. And so, I think Parkinson's does that too. Parkinson's shows us all the time new ways to see something that we thought we understood. We thought we knew our place in the world. Now we have to figure that out again. And, so I think poetry is a great tool for exploring these sorts of changes that Parkinson's brings to us. And I think Wayne had a great way of doing that.
He was a huge proponent of creativity and us expressing ourselves creatively. I don't find myself to be a poet, but I'm always very drawn to how he communicated things in the world and how many poets do. And I think that the Congress itself that happens every 3 years and is a huge meeting of scientific minds and also an award-winning conference that brings scientists, people with Parkinson's, caregivers, and healthcare providers together and researchers. And it's poetry in its own form. It's science in its own form. It's advocacy. It's friendship. It's a beautiful place and space to connect with Parkinson's in a new way for everybody, not just for those of us that have the disease, but those that are studying and trying to find cures and who are treating people with Parkinson's. So I know that's a really big, I could talk all day about the WPC, but the haiku contest is just a piece of it. And those of you out there listening and who might be in the area or curious to explore, you can Google WPC Phoenix 2026. And it's a great opportunity.
It's in the U.S. this time, but it's not always in the U.S. It goes into different places, different times. But
correct.
I also want to note that, poetry is not necessarily easy, and neither is the World Parkinson Congress.
It's everything's concentrated.
It can be a challenge, but both those things are worth it, I think.
Yes.
From my experience, both poetry and the World Parkinson Congress, even though they can be kind of messy, they can be challenging, they can be hard. But this is because they bring so many things together for us. Both poetry and the Congress do that. And I think it's going to be an interesting thing to see how these two things fold together. But there's all sorts of other things that are going to happen in the Congress too. So
yeah, and I'm very honored to be on faculty, and I'm honored that I met Heather there, and we met in Japan, right, Heather?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, Portland. Was it?
It
was Japan. You're right.
We were both in Portland, but we didn't meet until 3 years later. Yeah.
And I only missed Barcelona because I had to get emergency spinal surgery.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that could have kept me away.
Well, you were still there, though, because we all saw you on screen with your video.
Oh,
and it won the award. It won. Yeah. So you were there. You were representing, Heather.
Eli does a great job. Of bringing everything together. I don't know how she does it. I see her as like Kali with all the hands.
She is the executive director of the World Parkinson Coalition that puts on this enormous event every 3 years. And it's a great event.
I'm so passionate about the World Parkinson's Congress because it brings all the countries together. We get to see how Parkinson's is seen and medicated and treated in various countries. And it's fascinating. I'm so excited about it. The last thing I would feel is apathy towards something like that. That event is so huge, so exciting.
And it helps my apathy to have something to look forward to.
Yes.
Having something on the calendar and kind of working towards it is something that, and we had to read one of our questions today deals with apathy. Chris, do you have the question to read us?
Yeah. So this question came from Elizabeth. Elizabeth wrote in and said, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2018. I'm 66 years old, Grammy of 10 grandchildren who I love dearly. And I'm finding that I tire out in the afternoon, and at times I stay that way all the way until I go to sleep, all the way till bedtime. As much as I really want to have the grandchildren over, I want to lay down and sleep and do nothing. Is this apathy? It's just a new feeling for me, quite the opposite of who I used to be. Have you experienced this, and did it pass if you did experience it? I'm sad over this season of my life. Elizabeth.
Wow. Thank you, Elizabeth, for writing in and being honest. And wow, 10 grandchildren. Right on. Amazing.
That would be exhausting.
I think the problem is you just have a lot going on. No,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I'm not going to presume to just say what your problem.
I'm
what's
already
going on,
tired
but-
for you, Elizabeth. I'm going to go take a nap. I'll be back.
That probably is not super helpful to Elizabeth, I'm guessing. As an aspiring grandparent, I absolutely, Elizabeth, what I want you to...
Wait. Aspiring grandparent? How do you aspire to be a grandparent?
Come on, honey.
Are,
Make it happen.
are you talking to your kids like banging the drum? Gotta get busy.
I want to be a grandma.
Did you all forget that I was a midwife? I've been aspiring to be a grandparent before I was a parent. One last year.
That's great. I hear grandparents get it a little bit easier because they can give the kid back to the parents after giving lots of sugar.
And I can be a grandparent to children other than my children's children, too. I have room in my world to grandparent many, many children. So aside from that, Elizabeth, even though I feel tired for you, I want to say absolutely, first off, that the energy thing is real. And I don't know, I'm not going to speak for Heather or Chris, but I know for me, two things. I cannot handle big masses of people anymore very well. I don't last very long at all if there's big masses of people. And so therefore, I try to schedule visits with smaller groups. Is there a way that maybe every week or every couple of weeks you take one grandchild at a time and have a special date with them in the morning when you feel good, or do something at home? Do a craft, do something that they want to do, watch a program with them. They feel special. They feel like they're on a date, and perhaps it's not quite as overwhelming. I also would encourage you, if you really, really are zonked all afternoon, is there some medication adjustment or some exercise adjustment to think about to kind of get you out of that afternoon funk, and honoring the season perhaps in a different way, instead of expecting yourself to keep up the way you did with 10 grandkids and I'm sure children and all of those demands. Can you settle into it in a different way and connect with kids and family a little bit in a different way? Yeah, adjustment is hard. The old ways are not necessarily in the new seasons. So I don't know if that helps you at all. Heather, what do you got?
May I mention one thing that's so important here?
Yeah.
The energy required for the brain is about 20% of the body's total energy, even though it's only about 2% of our weight. So we have all these different chemicals, glucose, oxygen, that are generating, power and energy. But these are intensive mental tasks and physical tasks required of us when we are in public, especially. It's harder to be around a lot of people. It requires a lot more energy. And so this is a real thing. Your exhaustion should not be confused with apathy, though. I think it contributes to it. That's just my opinion. Elizabeth, I feel like perhaps the fatigue is taking over. Is that possible? Could you also be apathetic? Yes. And apathy is also a side effect of depression. So that thing you mentioned about looking forward to something, just keep on top of that. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I was going to go in that direction too, of looking forward to something, because I was thinking that, the season is one way now, but I don't know how old the grandchildren are, but it could be that this season changes again. And when they're older, there's a way in which this relationship with these folks can be different. And you may find that if the relationship may not be exactly what you want it to be now, but you may be surprised, and it may be something really excellent later. So I think you can look forward to changes down the line too. When they're a little older, they may have something else to offer. Your relationship may have new avenues to go down as time continues to go on, and they grow older and they become a little bit more able to kind of hang in the situation that you actually are in yourself, rather than you having to meet them where they are all the time. They can come and be more present with you where you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's an excellent point, Chris. And ages and stages of kids, as we know, change, especially, keeping up with so many. And yeah, we used to say, we used to take our kids on dates, and we called it making magic. Go do your magic date with kid number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever. So
may I also add that when we're preparing for something, we can get so overwhelmed For example, let's say that I want to do what my other friends do, my friends without Parkinson's. It requires so much more planning on my part. Are there stairs? Is there an elevator? Is it handicap accessible? Is it, is there a disability? Seating? Is there something that I can eat? I have celiac disease, so I have to be careful what I eat. Yeah, don't give me wheat thins. Probably a bad idea. But anyway, my point is, all that energy, overcompensation, is exhausting. Sometimes you probably want to be like, forget about it. I'll pass. You don't want to hold people up. You don't want to be the one that's exhausted there and possibly confused. So just wanted to add that into the whole mix. It's a lot to think about.
I want to draw attention to, just to reiterate what Heather said about it being probably a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B, that there's probably fatigue contributing to some of the apathy because you recognize it's so hard to get the energy to do X, Y, or Z activity. But I also want to draw attention to the fact that, exercise, while it sounds incredibly counterintuitive, doing more can, in my direct experience, tells me that this is true for me. The more I do, the less fatigued I am, to a point. You can overdo it, but if I'm the more I'm active, the less impact my symptoms seem to have on me. And again, who knows? Maybe this is going to change down the line, but.
Mm-hmm. And regular routine with exercise. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's okay. I think you're right. It's just partially the routine, but also, the thing about the exercise is that you might find that the more you do, and this doesn't mean you're like pumping weights, this could mean just going for a walk around the block, and wherever you're at, I think you might want to just think about if doing more might try it out, see if it helps.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe doing more will help.
Yeah. Kind of like when you jump up and down, you get your blood going. Like you just slap your legs or your feet or get one of those little tiny massage things. Not that kind. What are you two doing?
Not that kind. Both.
Okay, both.
But there's all different kinds of exercises, and as we move into the season, the weather's more the weather season where it's darker, we have less daylight, we're inside more. Coming up with some ways to get movement in your own space is important. So
creative adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
What other adaptations can we work on, guys?
Yeah, we can.
And I like what you did there, Heather. Heather is gesturing to her hair. She's doing that because our next question is about grooming, and it comes grooming. It comes from our friend Amy. And
who had a mohawk or a faux hawk?
I had the Sid Vicious spiky hair. I never went to the mohawk. Did you have a mohawk, Heather?
I had a faux hawk.
Faux hawk, yeah.
My daughter had a mohawk, and she stained on her side where she shaved. This was in high school. Cheetah-like spots and she used celery to do that on her skin. And while I thought it was very creative, I tried very hard not to react to it. I said, and that was enough. She's like, yeah, I couldn't get you with anything, could I, Mom? I'm like,
is this the same daughter who does roller derby?
Yeah, she did do roller derby.
I love her.
And now she's a labor relations rep and successfully graduated from college. Thank you. All powers.
I have a crush on your daughter.
Me too.
That sounded weird.
On all three of my kids. That's okay.
Thank you.
So let me read the question. We got a question from Amy. Amy wrote in. This is a slightly vain question. Amy wrote, and that's Amy's words, not mine. I'm not calling Amy vain. Amy said this of their own question. How do you manage personal grooming? I'm no longer able to style my hair or even get it cut. As minimal attention as possible is paid to shaving, plucking, trimming of nails. When I put makeup on, it looks like a child took a crayon to my face. Taking a shower and toweling off is so much effort, I just have to lie down afterwards. I've taken to telling people I've just been camping for a couple of weeks whenever I see them. Any tips?
Yes. Avoid the angry baby eyebrows. Did you ever see that?
Baby eyebrows.
Do you ever see when dads are left alone with their babies and they mark their eyebrows in?
Yeah, that's funny.
To look like evil, genius. I do that all the time and I forget to rub it in and fix it. And people are always like, is there something wrong? You seem upset. So Amy, I'm with you. It's very hard. I would recommend a wash and go haircut.
Amen. I always had a wash and go haircut, partly because I would get up at all times of the middle of the night to go do my job at the hospital. And when my kids were very young, I did a very short pixie haircut so that I wasn't having to fuss a lot with it. I think a lot of us get very tired taking showers. I think the hot water, the raising the arms, and I try very hard to take a bath if I'm super tired. It helps to and I have a cup in the bathtub to rinse my hair and do my things. And I keep my nails very, very short. I just clip them. I don't paint. Amy, I hear you, because we want to tend to ourselves. We want to feel good and to look good. And I've just tried to really simplify what I do and how I do it. And I do, instead of, I mean, this is going to sound way personal, but instead of a lot of plucking, I do what I can when I'm on. I have a good mirror with lights that I got at Costco, and I do some of that. And then if I'm having a tough day, I just shave my little chinny chin hairs. And yeah, they say that's maybe not the best way, but it saves my vanity if I want to go out and about. And I have hats that I pluck on, which I probably should have on today. Cat in the hat, right? So I wish I had a total solution, but sometimes too, getting an OT evaluation, an occupational therapy evaluation, they have some tools that can help with things like, a mascara wand or holding things more precisely. And yeah. Also dry shampoo, Amy.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dry shampoo is, it'll help the camp look, having been living in a camper for 2 years. So I got to use that a lot as an excuse, but I still found that I wanted to spiffy up a little bit. And
So glad they let you out.
pardon me?
I'm glad they let you out. It'd be terrible. Trapped in a camper. Small spaces are hard for parkies to turn around in.
They are. But
You
there,
get stuck.
it's you get stuck, but also you don't fall as much because you have walls to hang on to.
Oh, that's right.
We
both wobble, but we don't fall down.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope that helped, Amy. And Amy actually is a good pal of ours. And so I'm really honored that she wrote in and that she listens to our show. And she actually sent a second question that we'd really like to devote a whole episode to. And I think we would like to also reach out, and maybe even if we can have Amy join us. We'll see.
Yes.
I'm going to hit her up because she's a personal friend, and I think it's something we want to explore. And it has to do with how our relationship with Parkinson's disease changes over time. And I think it's a profound question and deserves some extra time. So we're going to give it some extra time at our next episode. And I think we're going to circle back and talk a little bit about our friend Wayne again before we sign off today.
Yeah, that's Amy's other question that she wrote in about relates to something that Wayne was pretty passionate about, and I think we'll say more about this in our next episode. But just to tease it for a moment, sometimes the question was about whether our relationship had changed our relationship with Parkinson's has changed over time, and it was about this idea of whether we might start by thinking we can fight Parkinson's in the sense of like, fight or beat it, conquer it or something. Mm-hmm. And I think I know a lot of people feel that that's what they're doing and I think it's just a question, right? Is that how does that change over time, and what does that do to you to live that way? And that was something that Wayne was really had a lot of thought. He put a lot of thought into that topic, and so yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Heather?
He's got a great point, and I followed him on this. I followed him very closely because it's like people say, like, they lost their battle with ... The person did. It implies that we didn't try hard enough, that we somehow failed. And with chronic illness, it is not, as far as we know, something that can be cured or taken away. There's really no chance of that we know of for most Parkinson's. I'm sure there are miracles. Yeah. Knock on wood.
Yet.
Right. it's almost counterintuitive, it's almost damaging. Choose the warning language. It's like, I'm just going to beat this. I'm going to fight it. I'm going to try harder. You don't really get through Parkinson's by trying harder. Trust me, you'll burn out so fast. How do I know this? Because I came out like a lion. I was so cocky. I thought, I've got this. I'll just work out harder. Got to be smart with it. You're in this for the long haul.
We'll go into this in more detail in our next episode. We'll talk more about it. And I think we might try to focus on this idea for a while, for maybe the whole episode. If we'll see how it goes. Yes,
I'd love that. I'd love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll look forward to having that conversation. I think it's interesting to think about what our different approaches to Parkinson's, what the costs are of them.
Right. Over time.
Yeah.
Over time. And I would really encourage listeners, if you have a passion or a thought about this, send us your thoughts. We do look at them. We take them seriously. It's really guiding our content right now, what you all ask or what you all have to say. So, and we don't mean to leave you hanging. We just want to give proper time to something that feels pretty profound for us, clearly.
So if you do have anything you want to add or anything you want to write into us, whether it's a question or a comment, you can do that by by going to dpf.org/unfiltered, dpf.org/unfiltered, and you can send in your questions or your thoughts to that website.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you.
And if we have something creative that we do that helps us with Parkinson's, write us about it. I'd like to hear what your creative solution is. What is your alchemy? What metaphors or processes do you use that help you? Perhaps improv. Isn't everything kind of improv? Guys, you are so much fun. You really light up my life.
Likewise, my friend.
So great to see you both. Thanks for making the time, and thanks to our listeners for joining us today. And we'll look forward to getting back with you very soon. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Parkinson's Podcast Unfiltered. Remember, if you'd like to send a question to Heather and Kat, you can do so by visiting dpf.org/unfiltered. That's dpf.org/unfiltered. This content includes information, insights, and opinions from our Parkinson's community. The views expressed are those of individual participants and do not constitute medical advice. This content is not intended to substitute for the guidance, advice, or recommendations of your personal healthcare providers.